Hello, hi everybody. Welcome to this TEFL org webinar. My name is Carl. I will be your host for the next 40 to 50 minutes. I'm here to answer any questions you have about TEFL. The theme of this webinar is about staying safe online. And if you have questions about that, fantastic. But I'm also here to answer any questions you might have about starting in TEFL, or you've just finished your course and you're wondering what the next steps are. Anything at all, please put it in the chat. So let me tell you about me. My name's Carl, as I said. I currently live in Belfast, and well, I live in Belfast now. I'm originally from the London area, and I'm the tutor for Northern Ireland here for TEFL org. So that means I do the weekend courses, the practical weekend courses here in Northern Ireland. I also have a lot of other different jobs that I do in TEFL within the field, nothing to do with TEFL org, the company, but within teaching English as a foreign language. The field, I work for a university. I also work as an examiner. I do some teacher training. Currently, I'm doing some writing of some resources for a company. So lots of different things I do. Please, if you are listening, if you are out there, say hello. Please say where you are in the world, and just say hello. Let me know where you are. Also, we like to know exactly what your stage is in your TEFL journey. Are you newly qualified? Are you looking for a job? Are you thinking of getting into it? Anything at all, just say hello. Hi Linda, hi Dan, hi James, hi Amy. Thank you very much. Say hello to me. It's great to know that everyone's out there. Right, so let's get started with the theme of today, which I said this is just a theme. If you've got any questions, please put them in the chat, or any other questions, then just put them in the chat, and I'll get onto them as well when there's a right time to do it. So let's talk about staying safe in TEFL. Now, if you'd asked me to talk about this sort of 10 years ago, I would be talking about how to stay safe when you go abroad, maybe from where you are staying. But now things have changed, and there's two ways of looking at the TEFL industry, which is basically being online, and it's also being offline. I'm going to call it offline today. By offline, I mean in a practical classroom setting, maybe somewhere in the world. Look at all those hellos that are coming in. Hello, John, Jenny, Stephanie, Joe, Courtney, Sideshow. I love that name. Sorrel, hello. Arkesh, good. Hello, everyone. Hi, Dan. Great. Thank you. I'm going to get to some of your questions as we go. Right. So staying safe online and staying safe offline. So first of all, I'm going to talk about staying safe online. Okay, so if you've watched some of these webinars from the past few weeks, you will know that I've been talking about how to get TEFL jobs, and there's different ways of getting online TEFL jobs. You can go and work for a recruiter, basically, or you can set yourself up online and with your own like mini business, and you get the students yourself. So let's first of all talk about staying safe online if a recruiter recruits you. Okay, so you might think, okay, why do I need to worry about staying safe some way online? But there are obviously different aspects to staying safe. So let's talk. The question we get asked a lot here at TEFL org is about staying safe online with, first of all, your personal identity documents. Right. So you found a recruiter who's willing to take you, and they will take you through the interview process. You might do a demo lesson, and then they'll say, oh, hi, can I please get a copy of your passport? And you might think, oh, wait there, why is that? And some people are reluctant, and maybe I can see the point of view, are reluctant to give across their personal documents. Okay, but unfortunately, it is something that is you are going to do basically if you want to go and work for a recruiter. Now, why do they ask that? For a couple of reasons. Some companies, you're going through their accounts in their country, and they would need to prove that they have some sort of employer checks that they've done, employer checks, just like we do in the UK if you go and get a job at a local shop in the UK, or I'm sure in your country as well. So basically, they've still, even though you're not in that country, they're still putting you through their books, basically. Hopefully they're paying tax or this kind of thing in that country. So they need to have records of you for that kind of thing. All right. The second thing is they need you to prove your name for things like transferring the money across to you, sort of anti-money laundering, that kind of thing. So it is a good idea to give your passport because it helps you get your money, basically. Okay. Yeah. They also think that they might want to check is things like your nationality. Now you might think, okay, why does it matter my nationality? But it does sometimes, rightly or wrongly, and we could get down the whole native speaker, non-native speaker debate here, but they do need to sort of say to their students, yes, we have a British national, or we have an American national, or if you're going to go teach French, a French national, whatever that might be. Okay. So that is one of the reasons. And the one that I was going to get to, which John has very helpfully put in there in the chat, thanks, John, is about CRB checks as well, criminal background checks. Okay. So when you go and work for a recruiter, they want to check that you don't have any sort of criminal record. And sometimes they would use your passport to get that in the country they're in. So for example, you apply for an online job with a Vietnamese company, they might take your passport details to the British Embassy and with your permission do a check on you like that. The other thing is sometimes they ask you to pay for a criminal background check in your own country and then pass that on to them. And then that way they might need to get your passport in order to check that. Okay, so that is the first thing about, don't be against sending your passport out to people. Don't obviously send your passport, but send a scanned copy of the photo page. All right. That is something that I have done dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Probably, I'm guessing about 100 odd times in my TEFL career. Okay. And many times I've done it when I've not gone anywhere near getting the job or anything like that. I've sort of sent it through an application process. So it is something that is normal to do. Okay. Right. So I'm going to talk a little bit next about sort of the economic side of things about staying safe. Okay. So I'm going to but first of all, I'm going to answer some of these lovely questions that I can see coming in. Okay. Thank you. Okay, there's loads and loads loads and loads of hellos, which is lovely. Just gonna just talk about Joe Kane. Hello from Devon, UK. I have qualified and not taken the leap into online teaching yet. Still feel nervous about taking the leap and where to start. Okay, Joe, this is quite a normal thing. I think everybody is kind of nervous, whether it's going into online or going offline into a practical classroom. Okay. Right. What I would say to you is you've got that knowledge. Okay. Everything that you've learned on the TEFL 120-hour, 150-hour course, whatever it was that you've done, that is very, very useful at getting you into an online job. Okay. That is the same basic training that even people that like me who've been doing it for 10, 15 years, that we go back to that training. Every lesson we do basically goes back to that sort of training. Okay. So you have that foundation, right? So what might make you feel nervous is just being in front of students. Okay. First thing I would tell you is they are also nervous. Trust me. Okay. It's kind of normal when you're meeting someone for the first time, even if it's online, that you're nervous. Okay. I would recommend to you that you start applying for some of these recruitment jobs. Okay, so by recruitment jobs, I'm talking about companies that are advertising for you to go and work for them. Okay, they will give you lesson plans, they will give you the students, they will sort out all the tech, all that kind of thing. That will be a good way for you to start. Okay, so that's what I would do about getting into if you're nervous about getting into it. Sorry, I just got a bit distracted by a dog that was running around outside my window, going a bit crazy. I'm waiting for my dog downstairs to start barking. Joe, I hope that answers your question. Just go for it. Everybody has to start somewhere. You can do it. Okay, good. Hello, all the hellos are there. All the hellos are there. Hello. Right, Linda. Hello, Linda. Linda Natanku. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced that. I'm doing the course now. Never been a teacher. How do I advertise? Please talk on how to get a job again, please. Right, Linda, I'm going to go through getting the jobs a little bit now. But there are so many past webinars last week or the week before where I talk about this in detail. Okay, so look on the Facebook page and get back. All right. How do you advertise? Right. If you want to set yourself up as an online teacher, there are different ways to advertise. The simplest way is to get yourself a Facebook business page. Start to build up your followers by giving out free free videos and from sort of trying to recruit students that way. We talk about how to recruit students on the online parts of our course. Alan, if you could just write some details about that so I don't get that wrong. But there's definitely something we offer to help you find students. Okay, so that could be something that you want to go through. Simple marketing funnels, Google marketing funnels, go that way. So that's your first way. You do it like that. Second way is to just try and get through Gumtree. I've got students through like online classified websites where I've advertised myself like that, and I've advertised myself to people in my local area, and believe it or not, that does work. You do get students through that. That is something that I have done. You'd be surprised how many people around you, wherever you are in the world, Linda, need to learn a bit of English. Okay. Third way is sort of through paid adverts, where you might go down the Facebook ads route or the Google ads route. That can get complicated. You would need to build yourself up a website, and you would have to try and get the students to come to your website, and you try and take their money through things like free trial lessons or £1 trial lessons, something like that. Okay, very simple, Linda. Go back, look at some of the past webinars I've done where you'll be able to see more about that one. Okay. Hello, Jenny. Would love to know your tips for advertising to students and staying on the correct side of local law. You don't know anything about me, Jenny. I could be the number one criminal in my town. How do you know that? Although that would mean I am on the correct. No, I'm on the incorrect side of the law. I don't know. Are there any agencies that would help best source students? What's the best method? Okay, thank you, Jenny. Well, we've just spoken about adverts just before to Linda's piece there. Agencies. I have never used an agency to get me some students online. I have only ever found the students online myself. So I have no experience of that for individuals getting students. However, I have used agents to get students for a language school I used to manage, and they take a big cut, agents. So just be really careful. Right, getting students in China is difficult. Okay, I have never really been successful myself about getting students in China. Everybody thinks let's get students from China. I'm not so sure it's best to try and go into competition with some of the big players, some of the big language schools who probably have a bigger advertising budget than you. I don't know, Jenny, you might be wanting to throw millions at this. I would look at advertising to other countries that have probably got a bit of money behind them. So look at the oil countries. So look at things like around the Middle East. Some are poor. Some countries in the Middle East are poor, but there's obviously quite rich countries as well in the Middle East. Maybe Russia. Maybe look at some of the more affluent cities around the world. Can you sort of start advertising yourself to cities like I don't know, you know, sort of like the big capital cities. So, for example, Nigeria, Lagos, a lot of poor people that live there, but there's also quite a few affluent middle class there. So you might want to go down that route. Japan, that kind of thing. Korea, okay. I wouldn't try and go after the Chinese students, okay. Best method I've always found for recruiting students is build your own website, get your website out there, okay, using Facebook, using YouTube, that kind of thing, and funnel your students into your website and then grab their money from that, and of course give them a fantastic service as well. Thank you. Akash Singh, hello. Very friendly message. Kindly help us understand about the best websites, companies for non-native to get work online, as well as how we should prepare our CVs. Right. Okay. I'm sure Alan can put a blog in about how to do for non-native work people to get work. Basically, a lot of the recruiters will take non-native workers. Okay, so I think just go through the links, go through the blog posts on that. I can talk a little bit about CVs though, for sure, because I've done some recruitment of teachers in the past, and I've seen lots of TEFL CVs. Right. How do you make your, right, the first thing to make your CV stand out is your level of qualifications. Make sure you have good accredited qualifications, certifications from wherever you're doing the course. Okay. So for example, if you're going to do a 120-hour course from TEFL.org, then make sure we are well accredited. What does that mean? It means we have got educational bodies that are nothing to do with us. Basically, we've sort of paid them to accredit us. That means to check us and to make sure that our courses are up to scratch. Are the trainers well qualified? Do they have master's level qualifications, undergrad level qualifications? Are they experienced? That kind of thing. That's the first thing that I look for as a recruiter. The CV I've got in front of me, the qualification that person has, is it from a good company? So make sure you check that out yourself. Okay. Next, if they are newly qualified, that means they've never taught before. I would look for some sort of experience on their CV with any sort of customer facing role in their past work, or any sort of work where they've had to train someone. So whatever your job is, Arkash, have you trained up some other people? Put that on your CV. Do you spend a lot of time talking to customers? Are you quite happy talking, basically? Because that's generally what a lot of teaching is about, or listening as well. I'm looking for that sort of thing on a CV. Go down that route. That will help your CV to stand out. Anything like that, put it on your CV. Okay. Good. That's a lovely message there from Jenny. Thank you very much. I'm just seeing if there's a question. Hello, Lauren. Yes. Good afternoon. Obviously, these are uncertain times, but would you advise moving abroad within the next month or so to teach? No one knows what will happen. Right. Okay. So, Lauren, very good question about going abroad to teach. And this will talk about staying safe. Right. I would depend where you're going to go, Lauren. For example, at the moment, I wouldn't go to somewhere like South America or Central America to teach. I think it's quite... COVID is still quite prevalent around there, so I would be careful. But countries that seem to have got it under control, and I think, for example, China seems to have got it under control from the news that I read. Japan, okay, they've had some outbreaks, Google the local outbreaks in Tokyo. They're quite interesting, some good interesting news stories on that. Seems to as a whole have it under control. Korea, that kind of thing. If you're going to go to Europe, if you're in the UK, it doesn't seem to be so prevalent, and Spain seems to have got it under control. Italy on the whole seems to have got it under control. The UK is still, there's still outbreaks in the UK. Is it safer abroad than here? I don't know. Right. So what you got to start thinking about then is, okay, say if you get there, Lauren, and then it's a problem, how easy is it for you to come back? If you're in China, it's expensive for you to get a flight back. If you're in Spain or Italy, then maybe it's a bit cheaper sort of to get back on an EasyJet or a Ryanair flight. It's not such a big problem to get yourself back. Right. The next thing, which is a question that we've had as well, I think Shinan said it, and I'm just going to keep it in there. Okay, keep the question up, Lauren. I'm going to keep your question up, Lauren, but I'm going to read out this question. Am I medically qualified, or is that something I have to pay for? And does it depend on where you teach? So let's talk a little bit about what happens if you get into any sort of problem medically, okay, when you're abroad. Country by country, it does totally depend on it, okay? if you're going to go work in Asia, before you sign your contract, make sure you can get from them what the medical coverage is. And if they are very like, oh, we don't sort of do that medical coverage, or no one's asked that before, I'd be a bit wary. Okay, ask them to get in writing what will happen if you get ill. Are they going to pay for it, or are you going to pay for it? Because travel insurance for yourself as an expat working abroad is really, really, really expensive. So don't go down that route of buying your own insurance. Check with them. Europe, we still have that E111, I think it is called. Brexit. I don't know what's going to happen with it, Brexit. But you know, if you get sick abroad, that card will cover you. Okay. Again, South America, Central America, check what the company is going to offer you with insurance. Okay. It's one of the first things that I ever basically ask a recruiter is what will happen if I get sick. Okay. And if they can't really give you any sort of help with that before you go, be a bit wary. That might set some alarm bells going. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Lauren. Linda, recruiters, there's lots of links up there. Okay. On the blogs, on the TEFL org website, go for that one. Look at that. Jenny's even giving you some. Perfect. Right. Thanks. No problem. No thanks. No problem. No problem. No problem. Courtney, hello. I've seen job advertisements with having a degree as a requirement. Is this a necessity? Right. So good question, Courtney. Right. Some recruiters do want you to have a degree. Now, why? Because their country has regulations that any expat that needs to go work there, and that includes online jobs because you're going to be registered in that country, needs to have a degree. So some companies do go down that route of making sure that everything stays above board and that they recruit people with degrees in order to keep their visa requirements ready for their country. However, there are definitely jobs out there for people who do not have a degree. Think about, for example, if you want to go work online, there are definitely recruiters. If you look very carefully and you spend the time going through all the recruiters, you will find recruiters on there that don't expect you to have a degree. They just expect you to have a teaching certification. Okay, that's first. If you want to work offline, then as in you want to work in a practical classroom, unfortunately, it's not impossible, but it is quite difficult to go and find work in some parts of Asia for that. Not impossible. Okay. People will still take you on. You just have to look really carefully for that kind of thing. All right. However, countries such as countries in Europe will take people on without a degree quite readily. Okay. Especially in some of the maybe not fashionable parts of, for example, Spain or Italy. Okay. If you want to go work in Barcelona, yes, you will find recruiters that will take you on without a degree. But if you apply and somebody else has a degree and you're both applying, it's difficult. But if you go to some of the cities where they're not quite as popular, there's not as many people trying to get jobs there, you will definitely find work. For example, Valencia. I spent some time in Valencia. It's not really on everyone's list. Beautiful place to live, beautiful place to work. Lots of jobs there. Hope that helps you out, Courtney. It is not a necessity. Good. John, some lovely tips there about Zoom. Thank you very much. No problem, Martin. Susan, I love this. Oh, this is a question I've not been asked for ages. I love this one. Susan Cormack, hello. How do oil-rich Middle Eastern countries view women English teachers? Are they well received, well regarded? Fantastic. Right. Okay. So oil-rich Middle Eastern countries, let's take, for example, Saudi Arabia, because that's probably the most strict. Yeah, Iran maybe, but that's probably the most strict. Okay. There is a massive call out there for women English teachers. And what happens is education is segregated. So they'll have a women's university, they'll have a men's university. You would go work at the women's university. Okay. I couldn't go work at the women's university. You could go work at the women's university. You can go work at the men's university. I can go work at the men's university. So there is a big market because, there is education and it's opening up slowly. Some of my favorite ever students have been Saudi Arabian. I just find some of them just fantastic. Some of them a little bit lazy, but that's like any students. But some of my favorite ever students have been Middle Eastern. Okay. So you, Susan, could go out to the Middle East, go to Saudi Arabia, get yourself a job at a Middle Eastern women's university, and they will love you for it. Okay. You'll be well regarded. You'll probably get a good few amount of money coming in. Now, why would there be jobs out there? Because for reasons, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but for reasons, people see it as not a good place to go and work if you're a lady traveling on your own. But there are definitely jobs out there. Check things like where your accommodation is, that kind of thing. Make sure you're happy with where you're going to be staying. All right. Now, Susan, if you're going to be in a big city, like a capital city, you'll probably be able to go out and you'll probably, it's quite natural for them to see women out and about. Okay. Some of the more rural places, you might get a few comments which you might need to be aware of. Okay. But I would not let that put you off if you've got some sort of sense of adventure, Susan. I know plenty of TEFL teachers that have done that, lady TEFL teachers, and had a really good time and come back with a few quid in the pocket. Hope that answers your question. Just gonna have a little bit of water there. Sorry, everyone. Hello, Dan. Following on your answers regarding CV, I'm currently in an office job within the creative industry. What would your advice be if I don't have any past customer job related or teaching experience? Right. So you have previous work in the care sector. That's a good thing because that helps people, put that on there. Have you ever trained anyone in your job in the creative industry, Dan? Have you ever had like a new starter who's come and sat next to you, followed you, and you've helped them? Get that on there. That's sort of training, teaching experience. Okay. Creative industry. Have you, talk about how you use maybe technology in your job? Can you get that into your teaching? That kind of thing. Do you have any ideas? Have you written articles that can help you write materials? Pardon me, that kind of thing. Just be a bit creative, Dan. Use that creative mind you have from working in the creative industry. See if you can get that done on your CV. Okay. Thank you very much. Good. Hello, Thomas in Madrid. Hola. How's Madrid, Thomas? I hope it's well. Courtney, would a level 5-6 equivalent be satisfactory? Do you mean compared to a degree, Courtney? I think that's what you, is that what you mean? So for example, I have some equivalent master's qualifications, but it doesn't actually say on it, sorry, a master's, if that makes sense. Yeah. Right. Unfortunately, no, they tend to right. If you can prove it through a website, then yes, they might accept it. But you've got to be careful. Some recruiters are quite strict about having that letters, bachelor's, or that kind of thing. Unfortunately, abroad, they're a little bit less, open to this kind of thing in some parts. Okay, they kind of want you to have that bachelor's, but that doesn't mean you can't prove it. Okay, why not try? Okay, good. Hello, Jenny. Really interesting to hear about the split education in Saudi Arabia. As a female teacher, if I were teaching to Saudi Arabia from the UK online, should I limit myself to teaching women? Well, okay, so I can talk about the university I'm doing some work for at the moment. We have Saudi Arabian students, and that's all online at the moment. And there are male students currently being taught by female students, no problem. And vice versa. Now, okay, it's hard to sort of talk about this without sort of generalizing. Okay. I have had issues online with being a man teaching a Saudi Arabian lady in Saudi Arabia because they have, maybe at times they have, I'm trying to be so diplomatic about this, they have people listening in on them. So you might be teaching someone like this, and in the corner is a husband or a father checking, and that can sometimes obviously be not very relaxing. However, I don't think that works for a woman teaching a man. I don't think that would be such a problem. Okay. It's not normal for that to happen in Saudi Arabia. Online, I can't really see it's such a problem. Okay. Good. Courtney, no problem. Akash, when you say care sector, I've been part of a sales in the ed tech companies where we discussed Hilton studies and also customer care. Yeah, I think any sort of sales job where you're talking to people. Yeah. Care sector means in the UK, care sector means you're helping generally people that can't help themselves or live in like some sort of special home. That's what I mean by care sector. That sounds something good to go for. Right, good. I think I've caught up on all the questions. Alan, I can't see any more, so I'm going to talk up a little bit more about sort of staying safe in TEFL. Okay, right. So we talked about passports and having to send that off. It's just a fact. It's something that you have to do. Right. The next thing that people worry about is sending out their bank details. Okay. Now, again, I send out my bank details to people quite a lot around the world. And I personally have never had a problem with it. Okay. How do I make sure I stay safe though? Use the security that's on your account. So for example, I get a text message every time I set up something to go out of my account, that kind of thing. I set text messages up for like security alerts. I mean, all these kind of things that you probably can get. Make sure they're all set up and make sure you are going to make sure you're going to have them all ready for you when you get your money in. Don't give out your credit card number. Don't give out your details on that. Just give out your sort code, your bank account details. And I've never had a problem with being paid that way. Okay. Now, the thing that you would have to take a leap of faith in is you'll probably have to start working for them for a few weeks before you'll get paid. Fortunately, that is the fact of the matter. And okay, you're going to have to do a leap of faith that if they don't pay you, you're going to, there's not really much you can do about it. Are you going to sue a company in China? No. So look online, look on Facebook pages for online teaching jobs. You will see many people on there saying if they've been swindled by a company, that kind of thing. Do your research. Lots of Facebook groups for online English teachers. Saying that, I never hear of anybody getting into any sort of problems with that. I don't. Okay, I trust that you'll get the money. Okay. Flip side as well is if you're going to set yourself up online for your own students, maybe take the money for the first one, but then make sure you're keeping track of how much money's come in from one student, how many lessons you've given them, all that kind of thing. Just make sure that but also I always try to take a bit of a leap of faith. Okay, they've paid for the first one. If their money hasn't come in for their second one, I teach it, and then if they haven't given me the money, I won't do the third one, if that makes sense. But if I would say sort of, okay, pay me tomorrow, fine, but you're not going to get another lesson out of me until you paid me. I probably trust people too much, and I'm willing to trust people like that. That's how I work with the money. Okay, jobs or from teach people online. Okay, good. Right, the last thing that you can do online to keep yourself safe a bit is the last thing is video your lessons. So this isn't talking about economically or talking about visas or anything like that. It's just to make sure that you have a record of what you've done. There's, software like Zoom will automatically record your lessons. Skype is a bit different, but you can buy software or you can get free software, such as Screencast, that would record your screen as you teach. That way you have a record of what you've taught. Can also help in marketing purposes because you can send out a videoed copy of the lesson, added benefit to your students so they can watch the lesson again. Can also sort of help you if there's been a complaint about you, that kind of thing. Okay, so think about videoing your lessons online. Okay, there we go. Right, before I very quickly talk about offline, okay, I'll only have a few minutes about that, but let's just answer a couple more questions. Hello, Marion. Hi, you're thinking about helping French people to be at ease in English when doing writing, marketing presentations. So marketing teaches specific skills like marketing. Yes. Would getting into TEFL courses help me set up this business? Yes. Right. When you're setting yourself up, Marion, the more specific you can be as a teacher, the better, really. If you can be Marion, the super duper teacher that will help you with your presentations, people are more likely to pay that than Marion who will help you with their English, because there will be probably dozens of Marions that will help you with their English, but maybe there's only one Marion that will help you for specific skills like marketing. Okay, can also help you with your advertising, because you can be a lot narrower in your focus. You can get rid of time wasters, that kind of thing, blah 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 blah. Okay. Getting into the TEFL courses would help you set up the business because you would have a good theoretical knowledge on how to teach. If you don't have that theory in how to teach, you are not going to be able to give good lessons, and you're not going to be able to get repeat business. It won't help you. So doing yourself a TEFL course, get yourself the theory of teaching, then go from that. Okay. So yes, definitely doing a TEFL course will help you. Okay. Good. Jenny, lovely. Sorry, Martin, sorry. Did I miss one out there? Yes, Martin, hello. What is your advice for getting a TEFL degree? Right, interesting. You're currently teaching in Thailand without a degree and want to get one. Right. So do you want to stay in Thailand, Martin? I'm guessing you do. Why wouldn't you? Right. So there's plenty of courses, plenty of degrees you can do online. You know, things like in the UK's the Open University. Right. What I would say to you is probably don't do a degree in TEFL necessarily, unless you really want to. I have a degree in TEFL. My bachelor's degree is in language studies and TEFL. However, recruiters don't tend to look at your name of your degree, as in what course you studied. They tend to look for, do you have a degree? So Martin, maybe think about doing a degree in something that you are interested in and something that you can do online remotely. Okay, that's my advice for you. All right. There are lots of ways of doing it online. It can take 3 or 4 or 5 years to do. Right. Be careful. I would say be careful about maybe doing one in Thailand. Make sure it's a very reputable university that recruiters will take if you then want to move outside of Thailand. Unfortunately, there is still this stigma about not having a degree from an English-speaking country. So you'd have to do some research in that one. Okay. Only start doing the degree if you really think you want to do TEFL forever, Martin. Okay, good. Jenny, insurance for online teachers. I don't know of any insurance for online teachers. I don't think such a thing exists. I don't know what you'd insure against, really. Missed payments. I'm not sure really that's something that would work. I don't know. Martin, do I recommend any specific universities to do the TEFL online? I must admit, I'm not sure of a list of universities that does a TEFL degree online. I'd have to spend 5 minutes looking myself. I did my TEFL I did my degree, language studies and TEFL BA at Swansea University. I really enjoyed it. There are other universities out there. Okay, hope that helps. No problem. Right, let's really quickly talk about staying safe if you're going to go teach in a practical part. If you're going to go teach in a practical school offline. Right. Again, same thing. First is they are going to look for you to get a copy of your passport and probably other documents such as copies of your degrees, that kind of thing. It's very common. Leap of faith, go for it. Very often, first of all, they ask you for a scanned copy. You send them the scanned copy. They might then give you some sort of visa, make you go get a visa at an embassy, something like that. Fine. I'm really talking about Asian countries. This is less for EU countries if you're an EU national. Leap of faith, send your scanned copies. Once you get there, the scariest thing for me was I had to actually hand over my passport and my degree certificates, and they were gone for like weeks because they get verified and all that sort of thing when you're there. Again, it's just a leap of faith, something you have to do. Okay. Contracts are the key thing, right? Don't take a job abroad without seeing the contract first. Okay. Make sure you've got nailed down the hours you're going to work, the rate of pay you're going to work, how many contact hours you get. So not how many hours are you supposed to work, how many contact hours are you supposed to be in the classroom? Because you could have you might sign for a 40-hour teaching week. If that is 40 contact hours, you are going to be absolutely knackered after the first 2 or 3 weeks. Look for about 20 contact hours in your contract. That kind of thing is what you need to do. 20 to 25 seems to be the normal. Again, within that, there should be things like healthcare, visas, so healthcare, insurance, that kind of thing. Get that nailed down from them, what you're going to do, how much you're going to get if there's any problems, who's going to cover the healthcare once you're abroad. Okay, good. Then thinking more about getting payment. Okay. Again, it's another leap of faith. You would have to go and set yourself up an account abroad. You're gonna have to give details, all that kind of thing, give all that thing out. You might not get any payment from that company for a good few weeks. That's normal. When you start a job in the UK or in America, wherever you are in the world, you don't get paid the first day that you work there. It's kind of normal. Just sort of keep an eye out on that kind of thing. Make sure that's written in your contract when you're going to get paid, all that kind of thing. Okay. Hope that was, I've just whizzed through how to stay safe offline. I could do a whole hour on that one. Okay. I'm just going to do a couple more questions before I say goodbye on this cloudy Friday afternoon here in Northern Ireland. Good question. A good point there, Jenny. No problem. Martin, back to you. Yeah. Okay. If you're right, a TEFL degree, right. Again, I'm not sure you need to have a degree in TEFL. Probably you need to have some sort. If you're going to do this long term and you want to go work for different companies in different parts around the world, yes, probably getting a degree is a good idea. If you're just going to do this for a couple of years, I'm not sure going to get a degree just to do TEFL is the way forward, Martin. I don't know what you want to do. I have not ever found, if I could go back in time, I would not have done my degree in TEFL, because I've got there's lots of TEFL qualifications you can do after any degree. Okay. I really wish I'd done a degree in international relations, for example. That's something that I was interested in. I thought doing a degree in TEFL was the way forward. That would open more doors. I'm not sure it has. Apart from when I got my master's, they took that into account. But, master's is going to be a long way from you. Okay, Martin. So I'm not having a degree. Yes, is a benefit if you're going to go travel around this beautiful world in lots of different places, but it's not a necessity, Martin. So, it's a lot of money to go into, that kind of thing. All right. Before you do it. Good. John, thank you for agreeing with me. Alua, hello. What's the best way to create a website? The best way to create a website is through WordPress. Okay, Google that. Get yourself a domain name, and then look about the people that you bought your domain name. Look for hosting. Look for a good deal on hosting in your first year, and then check if they allow WordPress. That's how I made my website, and it can be free, although you might sometimes need to pay for a few themes. Worth paying them to make your website stand out a bit. Alua, creating a website. I'm not an expert, but I did create my own website. All fine. Okay. Alua, should the company that recruits me abroad provide assistance with finding accommodation? Right. If you're going to go work in Asia, they often do give you some sort of assistance, but often not that much, I found in my experience. They say, oh, yeah, we'll find you get an apartment. And that might be like a 1-hour presentation they give you, or a leaflet they give you on how to find the accommodation. They're not really going to hold your hand and take you around. Some do. I'm not saying it's not happening, but they, don't bank on them going, Alua, come with me. Come on, let's go visit here. Let's go visit here. Let's go visit there. No, that tends to not really happen that much. Okay. What they tend to do is give you some accommodation for when you first arrive. Now, I'm still talking about Asia, very different in Europe. If you go abroad to Asia, they will generally meet you off the airport and they will take you to a hotel. They'll put you in a hotel for a few weeks. Or there might be a job that already has accommodation included in it, and then they'll put you up. For example, I had a job in China where I was actually staying with the students. I was staying in the halls of residence with the students. Okay, so that was my accommodation sorted. Europe is very different. If you're in, say you're in London and you apply for a job in Italy or Spain or something like that, you might get the recruiter might pick you up and take you to a hotel, that kind of thing. Very rare. Please, if you think differently, please put it in the comments. But very often the recruiters won't do that in Europe. You're kind of off on your own, and you've got to put yourself up for a hotel for a few days and then find a flat very quickly whilst starting a new job. Can be difficult. Depends on you, Alua, how open you are to that kind of thing. Okay. Elvis, we have some jobs on our website. Look for that on the blog post. I think that's it. I'm sorry if I just rushed over the offline part of it too quickly, but if you're still there, thank you very much. I've enjoyed that. Lots of different questions. Really, I enjoy talking about the Saudi Arabian ones, especially. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you've had a nice afternoon. Look after yourself. Stay safe. I hope just wherever you are in the world, everything's going okay. Thank you for watching. If you've got any other questions, please put them into the chat, put them into the messenger. Sorry, put them into the messenger, message the page. We've got some fantastic people that will answer your questions for you. If you're umming and ahhing about doing a TEFL or getting a job, just go for it. Okay. It will open so many doors. It will be fantastic. I've had such a great life from it. Okay. I really think that it's something that I really would recommend to anybody that wants to have a go. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I can see the thank yous coming in. No problem at all. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Bye.